Welcome to the Health Revolution, the show that leads you to a life of vibrant well-being. In a world full of noisy health trends, we bring you clarity through a sea of fads. We reveal the science behind the strategies that truly work. We explore physical strength, emotional resilience, and mental mastery, the keys to an enriched life. See inspiring interviews with the champions who've conquered life's challenges. Are you ready to unlock your potential to live with vitality and purpose? Then join the Health Revolution. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands. Let's embark on this transformative quest together. If you want to change the game, it all starts now. Welcome, everybody. You are watching the Health Revolution, and we're excited that you're joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, and no matter which way you're tuning into us, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. We want to stay connected to you. Also, there's a tab at the bottom of your screen for show episode notes. Be mindful of that because there's some important and powerful information about today's episode. Now, we want to welcome new viewers to our show. We are excited that you are joining us today. Our show is all about elevating the physical strength of the human body, emotional resilience, and the mental mastery so that we can live our most optimal life possible as we are going through the aging process and growing into our new level of strength. And for returning viewers, we certainly appreciate you connecting with us and your loyalty to our show. Today's episode, I'm excited to talk about because we are covering the truth and transparency about Kratom. What does this mean? Is this a new term to you? Do you even know what Kratom is and the influence and the impact that it has for those who are understanding its purpose and the role that it is playing in society today? We're going to get into all of this plant power and all that it stands for. First, let's get to know our guest today. He is definitely an expert in this role. Let's take a look at this. Meet Christopher Deaney, founder of Christopher's Organic Botanicals and a national advocate for the responsible use of Kratom. Based in Salem County, New Jersey, Christopher's journey began in 2015 when he turned to Kratom as a natural alternative for managing chronic pain after a childhood injury. What followed was a mission to bring this powerful botanical into the light, promoting its benefits, confronting its controversies, and protecting the rights of both consumers and the farmers who grow it. Through his blog podcast, The Real Kratom Podcast, and his commitment to transparency, Christopher invites open dialogue about Kratom's potential and the need for responsible education. Today we will learn the truth about Kratom, the benefits, the concerns, and why, as Christopher says, all I'm doing is eating leaves. Christopher Deaney, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
You know, I'm intrigued and I'm excited to get into this because I didn't know much about Kratom at all. And this will probably be a new topic for many of our viewers. Can you talk to us a little bit about what is Kratom? We'll start there. And then your journey as to how this became an important element in your life.
Sure. Well, I'm 50 right now. When I was 8, I was hit by a car out playing with my friends and broke both my legs. So that gave me a lot of pain and a lot of knee dislocations and a lot of discomfort in my life. So I was looking for something that was a little more natural that would give me better quality of life. That's when I came across Kratom. And I was just amazed when I found it that a leaf from a tree that's ground down into a powder made into tea can do so much.
So for our viewers, how did you get exposed to Kratom? Did somebody introduce it to your family? Did it come up in conversation? Was this something that maybe came across your searching for what could be a possible answer to the pain that you were experiencing?
Originally, I was just looking for different plants and herbs, and it was actually a sample that was given to me. I had no idea what it was. It was in a Ziploc bag, set with a bunch of other herbal products, and they said this is a sample of Kratom. It's from Indonesia. They've been using it in Indonesia for thousands of years. So I didn't even think too much about it. I put it up in the cabinet, and it was sitting there for a while. So it was Christmas morning, 2015, and everybody was done opening presents, and we're like, oh, okay, let me see what this tea was about. So I made a cup of tea. It was very bitter. But within like 20 minutes, I just felt a sense of calm come over me. And normally I wake up at about a pain level at about a 7 or 8 on a daily basis. So it was my normal day. But within like 20 minutes, my level went down to about probably about a 3 or 4. And I was just really blown away that something really worked this well. So
So when you talk about the pain, what kind of pain carried into adulthood for you that that morning, that Christmas morning, you noticed there was a noticeable change from what you were used to what you were you were noticing and observing that your pain levels went down.
sure. Well, as a child, I had broke both my legs. I went through about 30 to 40 knee dislocations on each leg. So I have a lot of wear and tear in my knees and my legs. So that was the real thing of that being so stiff every day. It wasn't just being in pain, but I feel very stiff. Like it's hard to move. And I try to do stretching, but sometimes the pain gets in the way of the stretching. So it's trying to just be able to just function normally without as much pain. So within 20 minutes to a half an hour, I was just getting in and out of my car, just going up the steps, just doing my normal daily routine. And I was just amazed that it wasn't hurting as bad. And I was able to actually do it.
And now this was this something that when you first got your hands on the tea, it was maybe information that was part of what you got, but then you thought nothing of it? Or was it just, have you always known that this was something that it was targeting pain when you first came
Oh,
across it?
no, I had no idea what it did. I had no clue. When I first Googled it, there wasn't much information. This was back 2015, beginning of 2016. So what I did is I went on to a few international platforms and put in questions about kratom to some of the farmers and suppliers in Indonesia. I wanted to know a lot more about it. When I ordered these samples of plants and herbs, it was on eBay. So I didn't know, I reached out to the seller and he knew a little bit about it, but not too much. So I wanted to know the science. I'm very interested in the science about the way things work and how they work. So that got me really interested in this plant. So I reached out, spoke to the farmers. They started explaining. I started getting samples of it in the mail. Um, Probably about 20, 30 different suppliers I've tried out of Indonesia. And all the kratom is pretty similar. There's not too much difference. They have white, red, and green, but that's the biggest difference in them. Most of them work the same way. So I was just amazed.
Can you describe, can we, going back a little bit, what
Sure.
actually is kratom? So kratom is it's plants, it's plants of a certain area of the world. And can you talk to us a little bit about just the behind the backstory behind what kratom actually is?
Sure. Kratom was used in Southeast Asia as traditional medicine for thousands of years. It's a big tree that grows about the size of pine or oak trees in the United States. The leaves are plucked, either chewed or brewed into a tea. They'll either pluck the leaf off the tree, chew on the leaf for a little while, and then spit it out, or they'll pluck 30, 40 leaves off the tree and simmer them in water all day and drink the tea all day. We use it a little bit differently. We use it like an instant tea. They dry out the leaves, and we have the dried powder that we make tea out of.
And so the over across time, when was it that we say Western society became
Sure.
more and more exposed to or discovered what has always been happening on that side in that side of the world?
Sure. A lot of the initial reports are from the Vietnam soldiers coming back from the war from Vietnam because it's native to Southeast Asia. So you're talking Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. So that was the initial reports. When it started getting really popular in the United States was around 2000, early 2000s, late 90s. That's when you started hearing a little bit more about it. But I didn't have any clue about it. And I'm really surprised I didn't because my parents were involved in herbal medicine very early in my life. And I knew about Chinese medicine, but nobody heard about kratom.
So then so take us back to that day, Christmas in 2015, you brewed the tea and you discovered 20 minutes later that you were feeling noticeably different, that the pain level went down in ways that maybe it didn't before. And so then your next move after that was what? Did you did you have conversations about it, like, oh my goodness, I feel so much better? Or what was it like, those initial uh, that realization of something different just happened?
Yeah. I honestly went down a rabbit hole with when I first learned about kratom. I wanted to educate myself about the science. And I really thought, I tell people, I really thought somebody added something to it because it worked too well for something in nature. It really worked well. And I'm like, is this really what it's all about? All kratom's like this, or is it a special type or a special blend? So I probably received 30 different samples over the years in the beginning, starting to research kratom, and it all worked very similar. It all tastes bitter. It all works similar. And the traditional way of using it, like I said, was chewing the leaves or brewing the tea. We make it as an instant tea and ingest the plant material. So they explained to me some people might get constipation from that. They explained, I said, okay, well, I might be off to use a little Metamucil for that, but that's okay. I didn't experience that. Some people do experience that. So that was the side effect everybody warned me about.
When you started taking it, so that Christmas Day, did you instantly begin to consume it on a regular basis, or what was that pattern like for you as you were learning more and more about kratom?
Sure. I did order from, there was only a couple vendors in the United States back then that were really actually selling it and labeling it properly. So I placed an order with them just so I can have it domestically and start learning more about it. But at the same time, I placed orders overseas in Indonesia. So I was bringing in pounds of kratom from different suppliers to try to understand it better. And we actually sat down with one supplier and found out that these people were really testing it. They really cared about it. They were taking care of their farmers. They were taking care of people. So that's who we ended up settling with. But yeah, I probably about a month and a half to 2 months after finding it, I was taking kratom on a daily basis.
And what did you notice in your particular experience? What did you notice about your pain levels, just threshold over time? Was there a cumulative outcome out of it? Did your pain threshold change in any way? What happened in your particular experience?
I feel like I start when I first started taking kratom, I was taking way too much. There wasn't much information. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just taking scoops and scoops in a glass and trying to learn it. And when you take too much, might get a little nauseous, and that you don't take that much anymore. But that was about it.
At your pain threshold over time, since you've been consuming it on an ongoing basis, was there ever a noticeable cumulative change, like
No.
your thresholds on any given day? Did they change? Were you easily Did it take you a while to experience pain? Was there any other indicators that you experienced that made you think, okay, my pain levels are not where they were before?
Oh yes, definitely. I really feel like even now when because I take kratom, I make my tea a couple times a day. I feel like a lot of times, even if I bump myself, I won't notice I bumped myself or got a little bruise. I'm like, when did I do that? I guess because it works. It works that way in me. But I was unable to bend over and do certain things, pick things up, with my lower back pain and my knee pain. And now I'm able to do stuff like that, and I don't feel it as much as, I mean, I might feel it a little bit, but I'm able to do what I have to do now.
Were there other family members who maybe tested it out with you along the
Yep.
way, or what was their experience like? What do you remember them sharing with you when they first tried it?
Well, my wife watched me consume kratom for about a year and a half before she tried it. I was the guinea pig, I guess. So she was watching me, and she finally tried it and was just blown away. She doesn't have a lot of pain, but she deals with, I don't want to say anxiety, but that's the only way I can say it. Growing up, a lot of stress and anxiety and a lot of nerves, as the old folks used to say, bad nerves. So she was given Klonopin for years. She took a very low dosage. I think it was a half a milligram or a quarter of a milligram of Klonopin for years. One day, it just stopped working, and she went into I think it's protracted withdrawal, and her body just started shutting down. And we didn't know about kratom back then. I really wish we did. But when she first started taking kratom was 2 years after she had stopped everything else. So I call it she was raw. So when she first started drinking kratom, she was just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe like the other stuff didn't even work like this. This works so good." And was just so happy that there was something that could help.
So obviously, with the discovery of the potentials and what this can do for pain levels, can you talk about some of what all is part of the kratom discussion, the landscape? Obviously, there's concerns, or things have come up to where regulations are now in question. Can you talk to us a little bit about the the debate that goes
Sure.
on with kratom, and some of the what comes up in conversation?
Sure. When I first started discovering kratom in 2015, 16, the biggest problem that when they were trying to ban it, they did try to make kratom a Schedule 1 in 2016. So that didn't work out. 125,000 people sent their stories and were explaining how well this works. So all the conflicting information, people are like, well, why are some people saying that it's bad, but other people saying it's saving their life? Well, the problem is there was a lot of companies that, and there still are, that were adding stuff to kratom to try to make it like a get high product. It doesn't get you high. So one of these companies was doing this in Sweden in 2009. They added tramadol to the kratom product, and I think it was 12 or 13 people died. So initially, the thoughts were, well, they died from kratom, and come to find out, they died from the tramadol that was in the kratom product. That was called Krypton. So
Can you explain to our viewers what class one means? Like what does that mean?
class one, as far as narcotic,
Yes. So the
or
narcotics.
Schedule One. Yeah, Schedule One, Class One narcotic is there's no medical use, and that's it. No known medical use.
And so the debate, how that's been happening across these last several years, what has been the pattern? Has there been, is there still mixed reviews about it? Is there, what has been the pattern with any attempts for, say, to make sure that it's easier for those to either use it, or, and not to say use it, let me back up. So what has been the debate that continues to evolve, and what is the goal for advocates for kratom to be in place?
The goal is to make sure that kratom is available to those who use it and need it, and to not put too many safeguards around it where people can't access it. Um, Over the years, there's been, like I said, with the Krypton product, it's 2025. Companies are still doing it. There's companies adding different things to the Kratom products, or they're just synthetically creating just almost analog products. And they're not Kratom. They're not natural. They're chemically altered. And you know what? Anybody wants to use whatever they want. I have no problem. But when it comes to natural Kratom, that's what we are advocates for: natural Kratom and natural extracts, not other products that are so far from nature they don't really do what God intended anymore.
Are there any current bills or measures that are being passed or being considered as of right now that are just part of the kratom discussion that's happening right now?
Yes, all over the country. We have 13 states that passed the Kratom Consumer Protection Act. That is to say that you have to have proper packaging, labeling, testing, directions for use. Because Kratom used to be sold, like I said, in a Ziploc bag with no directions, nothing, just with a name on it. That was it. Or a cheap Mylar bag with a sticker. Here it is. So nobody knew what to do with it. So now it's directions for use, how to use this product, safeguards, don't mix with medication, not for use by pregnant or nursing women, normal, what you would want to see on a product. So those states are enforcing that.
And we've got lots more to cover. First, we're going to take a commercial break. Stay put. We're coming right back.
So in the calm bag, it has GABA, theanine, and taurine. So theanine, which is B1, which is also in our B complex, but it also helps with the stress response levels. It also helps with the neurological transmitters in our brain, combined with the GABA, and then you add taurine to it. Taurine is a non-essential amino acid in our body, but it's found in our heart, our brain, and our eyes. So, in my personal opinion, it's very essential in our lives. But taurine has a calming effect as well. When I was battling all my AFib issues, I was taking high doses of taurine because that would help with my AFib. It would help with the palpitations I was having. And it also helped with the anxiety of having the palpitations because I knew what was going on. And so taurine helps a lot with that as well. So those three together create such a wonderful concoction that just really just calms people down.
Introducing Launchpad, the perfect partner to help you launch your dream project to the world. We know that time is of the essence, and we're here to help you make the most of it. With Launchpad, you'll get access to the most advanced digital tools and strategies to take your idea from a mere concept to a fully fledged success. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned pro, we have everything you need to make your mark in the world. Launchpad, your ultimate launch partner.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about the truth and transparency about kratom, what it is, how can we benefit from it, what are some things that we can learn about the responsible use should someone choose to consume kratom. Our guest today, Christopher Deaney, he's the founder of Christopher's Organic Botanicals, and he's also an advocate for responsible use of kratom and also an expert in it. And Christopher, for the break, I know you were going into some of the current landscape of the discussion about kratom. And can we talk about some of the misconceptions about kratom and some of the concerns that continue to come up, maybe the top two or three concerns about kratom that comes up in conversation?
Sure. I'll piggyback off the Krypton discussion previously. 9 people died. I think it's 9 or 12 people died. So all of a sudden, kratom's killing people. So to this day, they're still saying, well, kratom killed my son, or kratom killed my kid, or kratom killed this. Well, they really know that regular plain leaf kratom powder in capsules has been studied, and it's nobody's ever died from that. So that is not true. What's going on is if people are taking these super duper concentrated products that are semi-synthetic or synthetic, and they're taking these products with other medications and a Red Bull with a Monster, yeah, we might have a problem. So that's right there. That was one of the biggest misconceptions that I try to clear up with people. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you talked about medication, that there could be some
Yes.
contraindicators, that there are contraindicators. Are there certain ones that are black and white, a big contraindicator that it's not something that you would advocate for if there was a certain type of medication that someone is consuming? And the reason why I'm asking is I'd like to get very specific about the types of medications out there and the use, and it it having an issue with someone who is considering taking kratom.
Yes, sure. I always like to say talk to your doctor, but doctors don't really know about kratom. So that's an issue. Hopefully, we'll get past that. But the one thing we seem to have, we see a lot of issues with is antihistamines for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they're still studying the interactions for medications. I take a heart medication, Corag. I take simvastatin. I had a heart attack at 36. So I take my medications, but I take my kratom every day. I don't have a problem. We have thousands of customers have been through our company over the years. They take medications, or they're older people, and they don't have a problem. But they're really taking the kratom powder and kratom capsules, and that's the stuff we sell, the natural stuff. So they're not taking super strong concentrated stuff with their medication. So
So I want to also be clear for our audience that you have been a strong advocate that there are no health claims that are being made, that it's
Mhm.
not something that that you ever do, and that's not something that you advocate for. That kratom,
Absolutely
there's
not.
no health claims that are made. But I do also like to highlight. So you mentioned something interesting. So you mentioned that you had a heart attack, and so then and it sounds like you were put on a statin medication
Yes.
for a part of it. Can you share a little bit about that journey in particular, and the conversations maybe you've had with your doctor, cardiologist,
Sure.
and the transparency behind taking kratom?
Sure. I obviously have a cardiologist. I just went to him a couple weeks ago, once a year. I was actually just walking and exercising, trying to, exercise a little bit. I was 36 years old, and I just kind of felt a little funny. I never really did weights because of my shoulders and knees, just, pull ups and push ups and calisthenic type stuff. I just felt funny, and just didn't know what it was. It was something I've never felt. It was like I was kind of short of breath, like they say, an elephant's sitting on your chest, and my stomach hurt. Like I had stomach cramps. Like I had to use the bathroom, but I didn't have to use the bathroom. So it was just the weirdest combination. So I finally got checked out. Probably about a half an hour later. I waited too long, and they did an EKG. So I was having a major heart attack. They brought me to the local hospital. That hospital gave me a TPA shot because I had a blood clot. A piece of plaque broke off and formed a blood clot. So they gave me a TPA shot that cleared that. So my heart was stopping a couple times. I remember blacking out a couple times. So after they got me stabilized, they landed a helicopter in the parking lot and then brought me to the trauma unit. And that's where I had the stents placed.
Hence, as in plural, you've had
Yes, two
more
of
than
them. Yep.
two. Okay. Where can I ask? Within was it like the right coronary artery, or
It
was
was
it
the right.
the right coronary artery? Okay. So then,
And I was
so
going to say the weirdest thing was that the stents clogged up back in 2020.
okay.
And my auxiliary vessels started pumping blood around the blockages, and that's where my cardiologist is like, I don't know what you're taking, but you just gave yourself a bypass. I didn't have to do it for you. So I was happy.
Okay, but you obviously you were seeing him on a regular basis, so the checkups and were very protocol that come after having a heart attack. And
Yes.
so so I'm curious your usage of statin medication. And so obviously I'm going to assume or guess that you've had conversations about statins. And then
Yes.
what was it like when when you brought up the idea of kratom to your doctor? What was your doctor's response? And then how did the dialogue come to be where maybe it felt more like an alliance
Mhm.
versus like a defense and having to say more about why you wanted to take it?
Well, I've always been honest with my cardiologist and my other doctors about what I'm taking, any plants, herbs, and everything. So I write it down. They know it's in front of them. He questioned me. He said, "What's this kratom?" I said, "It's a leaf from a tree from Indonesia that they've been using for traditional medicine for generations. And it helps me with my pain and helps me relax, helps me with I have ADHD a little bit. So it helps me with my focus." And he was like, "Okay, just be careful. I've never heard of it." That was 8 years ago. So, or 9 years ago. So now over the years, he's studied it, learned about it. And there's over 50 alkaloids in kratom. One of them are a calcium channel blocker, which, as you know, there's a medication for the heart, which is a calcium channel blocker. So there are alkaloids within this plant that are affecting areas of your heart, your brain, your body, like everything. So it's really, he was amazed by it. He said, you keep taking that kratom. I think it's helping you.
Are you having to continue to take statin? Is that like in your particular case? And I know everyone is.
Unfortunately, yes. I was adopted at 2 weeks old. I don't really didn't know my family history. So I recently, a couple of years ago, did an ancestry and found a whole bunch of people. We started talking, and I got to know my family history. But most of the men didn't make it past 48, 49. They all had heart attacks. So
Okay.
this is a family history of high cholesterol, which I don't know. They entered the whole thing about high cholesterol and heart attacks. Some people say that one has nothing to do with it, but they, for me, they're just extra careful because I had a heart attack so young.
So then obviously, and I'm curious, did you happen to have higher blood pressure with right around the time that you experienced your heart attack? Was that something that was part of what you were that you were experiencing?
Oh, funny enough, I never had high blood pressure or anything.
Okay.
Actually, my blood pressure was a little elevated after the heart attack,
Okay. Okay.
not before. So, and it's still not bad. It's like 130 over 90 or 130 over 80. It's never really bad, but it's still a little elevated.
So now I'm curious, have you, so in the times that have followed since, have you had, when you think about conversations you've had with others, other Kratom advocates, or those who are just who want to have a better discussion about it, have you noticed certain patterns with Kratom users who have undergone the same experience as you? That is there a, not so much a predictable pattern, but is there a trend that you're noticing with Kratom users who are experiencing different health conditions, knowing that not everybody is the same?
Yeah, not really. I haven't really noticed too much. Most people that have been using Kratom for, 8 years, 9 years, they have regular blood work, regular everything's in good condition. They're able to do a little bit more than they usually do, so it's a positive thing. Some people were using, I see with Kratom in Indonesia, if certain areas you can't harvest from, it'll have high heavy metals. You don't want to, harvest in those areas. Well, there were some people over the years that were purchasing real cheap Kratom from those areas, and they were saying their hair was falling out.
Okay.
Well, they think it was because of the high lead levels or something in that area, in that region. So, but there's not really too many things. You can see I still got my hair a little bit, so it's not going anywhere. But, I hear really a lot of positives. Some people might say that they can kind of have a little dependence to it, like coffee, because Kratom is related to coffee. So
there's some so the caffeine effects are in coffee. There is a mirroring. There's of the similar, or would you say that it mimics like that type of stimulant that is
yeah,
in coffee? Okay.
I
Okay.
would say so. Yeah, it's similar. It's a cousin to coffee. It's just Kratom is not like cut and dry. You can have the same exact Kratom. You could take a teaspoon in hot water and it gives you a nice boost of energy, like espresso. You're getting your stuff done. If you take 2 of those tablespoons, now it might make you relaxed. It might make you tired. It might make you not want to do anything.
Okay.
So you take too much, that's what happens. You just get relaxed and tired, and you're just like, I'm going to take a nap.
Yes.
So
So for our viewers, I do want to share real quickly, if we can pan the camera to me real quick. I just want to share a little bit about, we do have some of Christopher's products here, and I just want to just share in detail and us have a deeper dive in this. So, of course, the founder of Christopher's Organic Botanicals, and so I do have some of these here with me. And Christopher, can we go into details about when you started your company and some of the best practices that you have for why the Kratom samples, or why these products that you have, why you put them through the testing that you do? Can we start with when you started your company?
sure. We founded in 2016, probably about 4 or 5 months after I started understanding Kratom as much. I said, we got to do this right. This stuff's being sold in Ziploc bags. Nobody knows what to do with it. I got together with a local co-packer. He's an FDA registered co-packer. He does all our initial testing there as well. But nowadays we're getting so good. We have test results come from Indonesia, and then we match those test results to our co-packer. And then before the product's released for sale, we send out a random package for a third test. So every one of our batches is tested 3 times, and we have our release testing on the product description on our website. So I was always very, very strict about that, because people were always lying to each other and saying, oh, yeah, I have it tested. I had it tested. And like I said, there's areas in Indonesia you don't harvest from. It could have heavy metals. It could have other bacteria. You just don't do it there. So I was always very serious. I'm putting this into my body. My family's putting this into their body. So you better have it tested right.
I want to talk in detail about this, and I think it's fantastic. Number one, that you put in additional layers of testing to make sure that you can back that up. So the first one that I have in my hands, it's this packaging here. I just want to show our audience. This is the red Mangda. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Mangda, everybody says it all different.
Okay, well, I just said it one way. Talk a little bit about this particular product, what makes it unique, and then how it's taken.
Sure. The red Mangda is one of the red staples. We have 3 different vein colors: red, white, and green. They're not as much of a separated vein color nowadays as more of a blend, but that's just to give you an idea. So red Mangda, it's a little darker, and it's a little more relaxing. With red Mangda, most people try to take the reds in the evening. Might give you a little boost of energy, but it's not super stimulating like a white. So
And then how would you take this? You would put this in hot water and you would drink
hot
it?
water.
Okay. Is there
Yep.
anything that you can add to it? I know you mentioned that it doesn't
It's
have
a little bitter.
it's a little bitter. Is there anything that can be added to this that
Yes.
allows it to be a little bit more palatable?
Yeah, some people add honey. Some people add a little, I don't suggest white sugar, but people add sugar. But honey, stevia, if you're watching sugar, you can try stevia. A couple different things that, we noticed that will actually cut down the taste. My wife has she makes a chocolate milk chaser at the end. Get some Nestle Quick with a little chocolate milk to kind of get rid of the taste at the end. So people go that route.
Okay. And so they take this, the serving size, and how much of the serving size?
I would, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, how much is the serving size for just for one person?
For starting out, we have 2 grams, which is like a flat teaspoon. I tell everybody to see, Kratom really is. There's a difference if you take 5 grams compared to 2 grams. There's a difference. So I tell people to get a food scale. Get a little cheap food scale on Amazon for $15 and take your spoon, throw it on there and watch. Even though you think it's the same size spoon, it's going to weigh different every time. So weigh it out. Weigh 2 grams. Now, if that works pretty good for you, then 2 grams is a great starting point. Some people might have a starting point of 5 grams. So it's just finding what works for you.
Okay. And then next we have the white mahakam. Am I saying that right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So talk to us a little bit about this. What makes this distinct?
Okay, that one, it's white mahakam, harvested from the Mahakam River regions. And that's what we are. Kratom is regional. We have different regions where we harvest from. Main region is Kong. Kong is, we have our farmers over there. I love them. They do a great job. And some of the best Kratom comes out of that region. So it's regional, what region they're from.
And when do you consume this? When is it typical?
Yeah, white's more for the morning or the daytime.
The morning time.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And the same, with the 2 grams that
yes, same amount.
Weighed out.
Yep.
Okay. And then the last one that I have is the green Bali here.
Green.
Talk a little bit. So what makes this distinct?
Well, the greens are what we had an old saying, it used to be white for flight, red for bed, green for in between. So the green is a balance of, say, red and white. It's more of a balanced, you take that during the middle of the day. You can even take green in the morning, but it's a little more balanced energy compared to relaxation, because Kratom gives you a calm energy. If that makes, a lot of people are like, what do you mean a calm energy? It just gives you a calm energy, like a focus.
Now, how many cups in a day is recommended for someone who is trying Kratom trying this for the first time?
Sure. I tell everybody, don't exceed 3 servings in one day, especially if you're just starting out, because you're trying to understand the plant. If you're taking too much, it might give you a negative reaction. You might get nauseous, and then you're like, oh, I don't want this. Well, it was too much. Just try to take it low and slow. So that's what I say.
And we've got more information that we are covering about Kratom. First, we're going to take a commercial break. Stay right there. We're coming back.
Welcome to Renew Laser and Skincare, where beauty meets technology. From laser hair removal and anti-aging treatments to facial sculpting, acne care, and injectables, our expert team helps you look and feel your best with customized, results-driven care. Located in Littleton, Colorado, we offer a comfortable, welcoming space and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. Visit renewlaserandskincare.com to book your transformation today. Renew Laser and Skincare, where confidence begins.
Hi, I'm Adriana, and welcome back to Fit Bites. Today, let's talk about eye health and easy ways to protect your vision as you age. Our eyes go through a lot every day, so keeping them healthy is key for long-term wellness. Now, first, focus on nutrition. So foods rich in vitamins A, C, and E, like carrots, leafy greens, and citrus fruits, support eye health and help prevent conditions like cataracts and macular degeneration. Omega-3s found in fish also help with dry eyes. When outdoors, wear sunglasses with 100% UV protection to shield your eyes from harmful sun exposure, which can damage your vision over time. Now, if you spend a lot of time in front of screens, try the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break to look at something 20 feet away. Now, this reduces eye strain and keeps your vision comfortable. And remember, regular eye exams are essential, even if you don't wear glasses. They help catch issues early and keep your prescription up to date. Protecting your eyes now keeps them healthy for the future. Stay proactive and care for your vision. Stay tuned for more Fit Bites with Adriana.
Our guest today is Christopher Deaney. He is the founder of Christopher's Organic Botanicals. He's also a Kratom advocate and expert. Today, we're talking about the truth and transparency about Kratom. We're understanding more about this plant and what the benefits and the making sure that we're covering all bases is for someone who is considering using Kratom. And Christopher, before the break, you did a really, you enlightened us by just some of the details that you put into place, best business practices for Christopher's Organic Botanicals. Can you talk a little bit more about what are some of the challenges that you have faced as you've embarked and with your exponential reach with Christopher's Organic Botanicals?
Well, the challenges are just talking about Kratom. It's very hard to advertise. We've never been very successful with advertising because the word Kratom is so taboo to Google, whoever else, and I really don't know why. The only thing I can tell you is what happened in 2009. Everybody heard about that, and they just, everybody got scared. And there's been so many tests and so much science that have come out over the last couple of years that prove Kratom's safe. It's pretty safe, the powder and capsules. So, it's trying to get that message out that, yeah, we've been through the ringer. We understand, we've tried it ourselves. We've talked to the legislators and, we're trying to tell everybody this Kratom powder and capsules are fine. And the FDA even did a dose finding study last year. Hasn't been released yet, but they gave 40 people up to 12 grams of Kratom each. Now, we were just talking about serving size. 2 grams. Well, they gave 12 grams. That's would be 6 servings. Only thing that happened was I think a couple of people got a little nauseous from taking, they gave them in capsule form. So they had to take 24 capsules in 5 minutes.
Ooh, okay. I don't think I've ever taken 24 capsules of anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they got a little nauseous from that.
Gotcha. I do want to bring up information about your company. So we're going to go ahead and share that here. Talk a little bit about some of the ways in which you get consumers or those who are curious about Kratom. How do you onboard brand new consumers, and what are some things that you do just to give them the support that they need in terms of information and just general customer service conversation?
Sure. Well, we have our customer service, which is my wife and my daughter. I also hop on the phone when needed too, but they are the two main people that deal with the customers on a daily basis. We have 2 different phone lines that you can text us, you can call us, we're going to walk you through this. You're not on your own. You're not just buying something and have no clue what to do with it. So we're here to help you, talk to you. Like I said, we can't give medical advice, but we know enough about it to say, hey, this might be the product that'll work better for you than this one. So we could just lead you down the road. And there's a lot of advocates out there that really care, that are organized. They have the Kratom gals. They have a few other, things where people are just trying to help consumers. They'll sit there and hold your hand through the whole process. And that's what it is. People want to see somebody's life get better. We love seeing people get a better quality of life. So we want to help you through that. So.
And just for clarity for our viewers, the Kratom Gals is an actual podcast, and they're also Kratom advocates. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And so they're also a voice to share more information with those who are just interested in learning more.
Yeah, they can get into a lot more detail than I can. So.
Okay. And then how far is your reach? Are there areas in which you're able to deliver? Are there areas that you are right now currently restricted? Or how far is your delivery reach that you have for your company?
Sure. Right now, we are just the United States. There are 6 states where Kratom is banned. So those states right now, they're working on the Kratom Consumer Protection Act to try to overturn these bans. And they all stem from 2009 with the product in Sweden called Kratom. So, and then also the FDA was making a statement that they were going to make Kratom a Schedule 1. It was supposed to be made a Schedule 1 in 2016. That never worked out. They backed off and said, wait, this doesn't even meet the criteria for Schedule 1. And they backed off. So these states got a little proactive, I guess, in 2014, 15, when they heard this was coming, and banned it ahead of time. But they just never have turned it back now.
Do you know offhand which states where it is not, where you're unable to deliver as of this recording?
As of right now, Alabama, Arkansas, Rhode Island, Vermont, Wisconsin, and Indiana.
Okay. So these are, and obviously anything could change, especially with legislature conversation and then more talks that are coming up. Now, just for our viewers, this QR code brings them to your link tree where they can certainly, there's different resources and reference material that you have. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We have different social media. We're limited on what we can really post, but we try to post some educational videos, stock updates, stuff like that. So that will bring us to, the QR code will bring us to your social media and also our website and blog.
What would you say is one of your maybe preferred ways for someone to strike up a conversation with their doctor to introduce the idea of exploring the use of Kratom? Is there a certain dialogue, or is there a certain verbiage that you like that would maybe can encourage viewers who are just wanting to at least bring up the conversation with their doctor?
Sure. You can just, a lot of doctors have no idea what Kratom is. So the American Kratom Association created a website called kratomanswers.org. So if you went to and you said, hey, I was looking into this product, I'm learning about it. Would you like to know about it? What maybe ask them what you would think and give them the link, kratomanswers.org. Let them look at it. Let them see the science and some of the studies that have been done.
And we've got a little bit more to cover. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Everyone stay right there. We're coming back. Welcome back, everybody. We've been spending quality time with our guest today, Christopher Delaney. Christopher Deaney, excuse me. He is a Kratom advocate and expert. He is the owner of Christopher's Organic Botanicals. We're talking about the truth and transparency about Kratom. And Christopher, where can we find you in the virtual space?
And well, that we're online only right now. We were going to open a nice little store around here, but then COVID hit and that wasn't a great idea. So, but you can check us out at christophersorganicbotanicals.com. And we also have a blog with over 200 blog posts about science, legality, education, anything you want to know about Kratom.
And then also the different social media platforms that you're at. We just want to go ahead and bring those up for our viewing audience. Can you talk a little bit about those as we run through those?
Sure.
Just how you show up on social media?
Sure. We have our Instagram, obviously, that, we post pictures and updates products. Facebook as well. We'll post our product updates, advocacy, if there's any bills that are being filed, any information. So,
and obviously those are not the only spaces as well.
No.
Okay.
We're a little more free to talk about Kratom on X or Twitter than we are some other social media platforms. So you might see a little more information on X sometimes from us.
Okay. But of course, that's not all for our viewers. Talk a little bit about what's happening on YouTube.
Well, our YouTube is where I do post all videos. I've never had a problem with YouTube. All my videos are on YouTube. That's the best place to go. I'll be honest with you, because I'm less restricted.
And then, but in the, obviously in the world of TikTok, you're there as well.
Yes.
Is there any unique way in which you show up on TikTok?
I just try to do brief little shorts and say hi and give some brief information about Kratom and, keep the viewers educated and our customers, educated as well.
And then with that business flair, obviously you're on LinkedIn as well. How do you navigate on how do you show up on LinkedIn with the vibe that LinkedIn gives?
We have our profile page. I don't post too often on LinkedIn, but occasionally we do have a special page on there, like a newsletter page, where I'll post some of my blogs or other content so people can come across and find us.
Absolutely. And, you have a slogan that you end with powered by nature. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just feel like, I went through the time in my life where I was prescribed opiates for 15 years. I was on painkillers. I was on probably everything that wasn't natural and good for me. And now that I don't have any medications that I'm taking as much, I'm more powered by nature. I'm using my supplements. I'm using what nature provided for me. I love going out and just picking my own fruits and vegetables. And, I love doing stuff like that. So I feel like I'm powered by nature again.
And what do you have going on for the remainder of 2025? What's on the horizon for you?
Sure. We're actually this week, we're going to Washington, D.C. Wednesday and Thursday. We have Hill Day on Wednesday, and then we have a meeting for our organization on Thursday. So I'll be talking to legislators and senators about Kratom and filing the federal Kratom Consumer Protection Act.
And one last question I have for you. What is the one message you would like to leave our viewers? What is the one takeaway you want for them to have from our conversation today?
I really want to say, when it comes to plants and herbal medicine and those type of products, just do your educate yourself, do your research, and don't give up. There's so many people that just get frustrated because it's not like taking a pill. You have to educate yourself. Oh, I got to take this amount compared to this amount. And it's trial and error. It's once you figure it out, your life is going to be so much better.
Christopher Deaney, founder of Christopher's Organic Botanicals, Kratom advocate and expert. I appreciate your time. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
And for our viewers, of course, we want to give a quick shout out and thanks to our sponsors, Biomed Mobile IV Dapper, No Code, Launchpad, Renew Laser and Skincare, and Synergize Fitness for your support for our show. In addition to that, for our viewers, you can find us on the web. Our website is thehealthrevolutiontv.com. There you can certainly sign up for our newsletter. You can email us with any show episode ideas you'd love for us to cover. On the upper corner of your screen, you'll find our QR code. If that's easier for you to grab, feel free to grab it there. And then, as always, you can rely on us to be coming at you Tuesdays and Thursdays on E360 TV, 10 a.m. Pacific. 1 p.m. Eastern on the Arion TV channel and all the major distribution handles that are connected to us. That is all the time that we have for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We will see you soon.
Thank you.